lesson 9. I'm going to be the driver and Vhukhudo is going to be my navigator today. So we are starting off with our main.js file. Once more, declare variable with our port is going to be 3000. We import Express and then we put our Express function into this variable here, app. And then now we going to use this app.use method here, right? And we're just going to use this to log to the console to say to which URL the request was made to, and we're just gonna say whatever request we have the URL concerned. That's what that's what we're gonna log to the console, right? So it's going to say a request made to, and it's gonna show the URL that we put onto the URL bar in our browser. And then it's going to, this just to encode our URL to remove spaces and stuff like that so that it doesn't break. And then when we send a post request, right? So this happens when you do a get request. Actually, this happens all the time. Whatever request we have, this is what happens. But then when we have a post request, instead what it's going to do is that it's going to log to our console that the post was successful as soon as we send that request. And then it's going to show us the request was made to .url, right? It's going to show us the URL we say we made the request to. And then we're going to handle also the post request. We're going to respond with the path parameters. So we have our get request here, which is the items and vegetables, and that's main.js. And then yeah, that's basically the heart of the whole project here. So if I just go to my browser, and actually I need to start the terminal, so I'm going to say node main to run the server, and then the server is running at port 3000. We're just gonna say localhost 3000. You see it shows us that where the request was made to. This is our default route, which is slash, and then I'm going to say slash items slash carrots. You can see it says this is the page for carrots, and also it tells us the request was made to slash items slash carrots, right? So that's the first part of our lesson 9. Second part of lesson 9 is it's going to be the similar thing, but it's going to be a bit more complex. But before I move on to the second part, I have to show you the part where we actually send a post request to show you what happens when you send a post request. So to do that, I'm going to have to open another terminal, which is going to be the terminal that's going to send the request, right? And to send our post request, we're going to use our curl command. I'm just going to change the username here. I'm going to give it my name, and then yeah, then I'm just going to send the request, and it's sending the request. Yeah, so the request is sent. It's saying post successful, which is basically this line here. And then we move on to the second part of our lesson 9, which is serve.html. And in serve.html, as you can see, we have our controllers now, and in our home controller.js file we have two functions that we're exporting to be made available globally. The first one is send request parameters, and all it does is going to create this veg variable, and then it's going to take the request, it's going to look at the parameters, and then it's going to look at the vegetable, right? It's going to look at the vegetable, and then it's going to send a response that this is the page for whatever vegetable you put into your parameters, right? And then the second one is going to log the request body. So when it comes to the request, it's going to go access the body parameter of it. It's going to log the body, and it's going to log the query also, and it's also going to say post successful, just like we just seen right now. So it's similar to what we had, right? But instead of having all these functions in main.js, we have them in our home controller.js. And then in our main.js is much shorter and much simple. It's the same as what we had, but now we are importing this home controller from this route here where it's found, and yeah, we're importing Express as always, and it's basically the same as what we had. It's just that now we are importing our functions rather than having them in the body of our main.js. So if I just go out of if I just go out of this and I go to serve.html, and then I run the server there, I say node main. Let's just give it some time to load. You see the server is running, and then I'm just go to localhost 3000. Let's just go to the default route. Default route, not this one. Yes, you see it shows us this, and then we can say /items /carrots, and this is the page for carrots. It also shows us here, and then we can also send another post request via the curl command, and then I'm just going to say carrots post successful. Go here, and then it tells us, right, this is the body of the parameter. These are the parameters of that request. It shows us carrots and secret here. So that's all for lesson 9. Thank you.